interchanged. Okay? Now, would is a polite request also. Would you sit down? Would you come with me, please? Will, another polite request. Repeat. Will you have a seat? Will you come with me? Shall. Shall is used more in England. This comes more from England. However, it's losing popularity even in England, because this right now is not as popular as it was many, many years ago. And it's only used with I and will. Excuse me, I and we. It's only used with I and we. It's like a formal suggestion. Shall we eat? Shall we eat? Should. Should. Should is a suggestion also, and it's probably the most popular one. It's not too formal. Repeat after me. You should wear your seatbelt. Repeat. You should wear your seatbelt. What are you saying? Você tem que usar faixa de seguridade no carro. You should, it's a suggestion. Estou sugerindo alguma coisa para você. Ought to. These two are often confused. These two are often confused. You say ought to. It means the same thing as should, but there's a difference. Ought to has a moral implication. It's something that you ought to do. Repeat, ought to. Americans often say it fast as oughta, oughta. So it's something that it's morally correct. It's the right thing to do. For example, repeat, you ought to wear shoes. You ought to wear shoes. If you don't wear shoes, it can look bad. Pode ficar mal, depending on where you are. So they say you should wear shoes. Or if somebody else is telling you what they think, what they believe, they could say you ought to wear your seatbelt. So these two are suggestions, but this is a little stronger. This is somebody else imposing what they want onto you. This is somebody else imposing what they want onto you. It's showing that it's a little bit more moral. It's the right thing to do. Okay? But they're basically the same. You should wear your seatbelt. You ought to wear your seatbelt. They're both interchangeable and they're both correct, except this one shows that you think it's the right thing to do. This is much more popular because nobody likes to force their will upon someone else. But then again, if you do want to do that, if you do believe that it's the right thing and you want the other person to see that, this is the one that's used. Okay? A coisa certa fazer, você usa ought to. A coisa que você está sugerindo, usa should. Now, may is a polite request. Repeat. May I use your phone? It's also for when something is 50% certain. Are you going to come to the party tonight? I may. I may. It means, you know, it's about 50% possibility. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I may. It's a possibility. Okay? If something is less than 50% certain, meaning, the chances are not too good, you would say might. For example, are you going to go to the party tonight? I might. It means if the person has nothing better to do, they'll go to the party. Se a pessoa não tem nada melhor que fazer, vá na festa. I might, because it's less than 50% certain. It shows doubt, mostra dúvida. Okay? I might go. May is 50-50. Talvez sim, talvez não. So you can respond with may or might. If you use may for a statement, it can also be a polite request. You know, may I use your phone? Must is a requirement. It's an obligation. You must wear your seatbelt. You must wear your seatbelt. In the United States, if you don't wear your seatbelt, you can get a ticket. Você pode pegar uma multa se não usa. Então, uma obrigação. Você não tem uma opção. Tem que usar. Must. Okay? This can also be replaced in English with have to. Americans very commonly use have to. Have to, like, you have to sit here. You have to wear your seatbelt. I have to go. Not I must go. I have to go. I must go is okay, but that's more popular in England. I have to go is more popular in the United States. Remember, must and have to are interchangeable. That's the verb have with to. Now let's go through these together and put all this into application. Number one. Again here, you can interchange. There's not one right or wrong answer here. It depends on your opinion. It depends on what you choose. Polite request. We could say, could you call my mother? Could you call my mother? Repeat. If you said, would you call my mother? That's perfectly acceptable. Number two, an informal request. Você me pode levar para casa? Dá uma carona? Repeat. Can you give me a ride home? Can you give me a ride home? Number three, suggestion. Should I use my seatbelt? Should I use my seatbelt? Agora está perguntando, deveria de usar a faixa de seguridade? Should I? Repeat, should. Okay. Necessity, something you need. Repeat, he must do his job. Again, obligation, something that you have to do. Number five, in this case it's a good possibility. So maybe I may go to the party. I may go to the party. If you say may, it's a 50-50 chance. It's a better possibility than might.